Colton Dach continues to impress in the AHL this season, putting up some insane numbers in last game against the Iowa Wild. As well as we also have found the biggest problem for the Chicago Blackhawks this season, so make sure to stick around to the end to find out what we believe that is. But before we get into this video, we notice that 83% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. So if you're looking for a spot to get all your news surrounding the Chicago Blackhawks and around the rest of the NHL, you're in the right spot. Make sure to stay a while, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the breaking news. But we're going to start this one off here today with, like I said, Colton Dach. He had a fantastic game in his last game, getting 4 goals, a hat-trick and a shootout winner, against the Iowa Wild. And Colton Dach is a player that we've been keeping our eyes on lately. Brother of Kirby, they drafted him, assuming they'd play together, but we know now that Kirby is no longer on the team, as now he's with the Montreal Canadiens. But, very good game. He scored all of the goals for the Rockford Ice Hogs against the Iowa Wild. He solely beat them. And, he's a player that we've been keeping an eye on lately, wondering if he could make an NHL appearance this season. Now, I think it would be a long shot for that to happen. I think there would have to be a lot of injuries for that to happen, or he goes on a super, super hot streak. But, nothing's impossible. But, Nick, as a fan of Kirby Dach and the Canadiens, what do you think of his brother? They're kind of the same person in the middle of in the end of the day. They're the same kind of player. Yeah. But what do you think about him and how he'll affect the Blackhawks when he does make the NHL roster?
Well, I think he probably gains his leadership qualities from his brother. I mean, Kirby was the captain of Canada before he broke his wrist, unfortunately, in the World Juniors in, I think it was 2020. World Juniors in 2021. 2021, actually. But he's a great guy to have around. Like, I know a lot of people have said that who have been around him, right? And it's nice to see one Dach brother doing well this year. And it really sucks about what happened to Kirby. Still haven't got over that. Not going to get over that for the rest of the season. But Colton is a great player. And as you see in that game, like you said it best, he single-handedly beat the Iowa Wild. It's nice to see, definitely for now, but I would not bring him up yet. I think teams are learning you need to let guys cook in the AHL before you bring them up. You need to let them play that style of game. The AHL is like the NHL. It's just a little bit lower scoring because you're not playing with a bunch of talented guys in the AHL, right? Like, you're playing with guys who mostly are going to be down there for the rest of their careers. Maybe you'll be a third or fourth liner at some point, but you're not going to play with like overly talented players. You're not going to get the opportunities that you would get to score probably in the NHL if an NHL player is passing you the puck or whatever. Now, the goalies might be a little bit worse, but just to say, like, Colton Dach is ready for the NHL, I don't think so. But at the end of the day, if you let him cook in the AHL, like what Montreal is doing with Josh Waugh right now, I think it'd be better off for the future for him.
Yeah, full agreement here as well with that. Even if he is ready, like you said, I don't think there's a rush. There's no need to. Chicago's not trying to be good. Obviously, they want to win to get the morale high and everything like that, but their main priority is not winning. It's development right now. Obviously, another high pick, having 2 potentially in the top 15 would be absolutely fantastic for the Blackhawks, and which they're going for, you have to assume, even though they might not be directly saying it. So I think letting Colton Dach go the Josh Waugh style in the AHL is a perfect example. Let him get really good, better than he already is, and then bring him up. You see his stats over his career, pretty good. Projected 57 and 67, not bad at all by any means. And he's a goal scorer. That's the main thing. The Blackhawks have a lot of them, and that's something you can't have enough of. So I'm excited to see how he progresses through the AHL this season, how he continues to go. And I'm expecting a lot of good stuff coming from Colton Dach this year in the AHL.
I think they want to win in the AHL, though. I think when you're going through a rebuild and you are in the NHL, you're obviously trying. Probably you're not going to say it like you said, but you're probably trying to lose a little bit. You're putting the team out there that has like the Corey Perrys and the Nick Folignos and all that on it, right? Like, you go into free agency and sign a bunch of like fourth liners, AHL players, and play them on your team, but in the AHL and all your other systems, your prospects, whatever teams they may play on respectively, whether they're in college or junior, you want to see every one of those other systems besides the NHL win. So I think at the end of the day, him doing this in the AHL, furthering the Rockford Ice Hogs in their success this season. I'm not sure how they're doing right now, but hopefully for the Blackhawks, they're doing well. I think they want to see this, and I think there's nothing bad about winning in the AHL.
No, yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's the same way as in the NHL. If you're an NHL Stanley Cup ready team, that's what you want us to succeed in. Obviously, you want everybody else to, but that's the main priority. But for the Blackhawks, it's the exact opposite at the moment. So, we'll see how this team progresses throughout the season. You know, it's a long way to go yet, and there's a lot of young guys in this team, a lot of young talent. So it'll be very exciting to see. Yeah, absolutely.
Very long year.
And now we are going to go to the part that a lot of you guys, I think, are wondering what really is the big problem with the Blackhawks. Now, like we said, they're obviously not trying to win, but there's a reason that they aren't winning. And I think that, a lot of people are thinking this, and it's this team, I don't think they can play a full 60 minutes right now. I think they are very capable of doing so, but they seem to have struggled in nearly every game they've played. There's been many times in many games this season where a line will get caught in their own zone for like a minute and a half, and they just get gassed and they get scored on. And this is a perfect example of this here. You can see in the bottom right of this screenshot that I have highlighted, 34.6 shots against per game average. That's the 4th worst in the NHL. I don't know why that's green, because that's not a good stat. But that is a textbook definition that's saying you are getting outplayed. And, I can see this being that a lot of the younger guys in this team are afraid to make mistakes. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying this as well. This is where this idea sparked from. A lot of people trying to guess what this issue is. And, at the age that you are right now in the NHL, a lot of these younger guys, we know Chicago's a very young team and a very old team at the same time, based on their player splits. But you can't be afraid to make a mistake, especially on a Blackhawks team that is not going for a cup. You're learning. That's the best way. If you make a mistake now, that's the right time to do it. You don't want to chase the puck. You don't want to try and turn it over. But in certain opportunities in your own end, you got to do that. You got to take the risk to get the puck out and whatnot in any situation that you're getting caught in your own end. So being outplayed is a part of the game, but the Blackhawks seem to be doing it a lot. A lot of the guys are getting gassed at certain points in the game. The second period has not been helpful for the Blackhawks at all this year. But, Nick, I know Montreal has done this a few times over the past few years as well, so I'm sure you know what we're saying about this here. But what do you think about this? The Blackhawks are a team, like I said, they're very young, and they can't be afraid to make mistakes. But what do you think they can do to resolve this? It's a pretty textbook hockey question, I guess you could say. But, the Blackhawks just got to work on this. But what do you think about it?
You took the words right out of my mouth when you said the best way to learn is to make a mistake. And I think they've got the perfect guy behind the bench for that. Luke Richardson is a phenomenal coach. This guy, I think a lot of people forget, when Dominic Ducharme got COVID during the 2021 playoffs, coached Montreal to 3 victories. Actually, no, I think it might have been 4 victories. All 4 were Luke Richardson against the Vegas Golden Knights, second best team in the NHL. Out of nowhere, he had to take over as the head coach. And he coached a team to 4 consecutive victories. Not consecutive, but 3 out of 4, I think, whatever. In a conference final in the NHL. This guy knows how to adapt to situations. He knows, and he's going to know his team, right? He gets to know his team. There was nothing but good things to be said about Luke Richardson when he left Montreal. When he went to Chicago, I saw that. I said, they got their guy. This guy is going to be a great coach for Chicago, especially for the young guys. He can get the young guys going, and I'd say they'll work on this. They'll have this dealt with within the next couple weeks, to be completely honest with you. And it's going to take a lot longer than that, but he's going to start the conversation about making mistakes. He's going to know, the veterans are going to say it too. You got to make mistakes, like you said, to learn from them. And when they start doing that, when they start learning from those mistakes, it's going to look bad. It's going to look really bad. They're going to play really bad. They're going to have a lot of giveaways. They're going to let in a lot of goals. But eventually, in the long run, they're going to learn from those mistakes. And then you'll see a lot of those holes kind of slip away. You'll see the giveaways. They'll be making the better play. They won't be scared to make the better play either. They won't be scared to make that pass. And obviously there's going to be mistakes. Every game has mistakes. Every team has mistakes. But you won't see the mistakes as much, and you'll see the players get a lot more comfortable with making those plays.
Yeah, and we know that the juniors and the U.S. junior program is a much different game than the NHL. There's a lot stronger guys, guys that have more gas, I guess you could say, in the NHL. So how young the Chicago team is, that you can definitely see where that comes into play, where the more experienced, the more, I don't want to say energetic, but the guys who've been around the game longer, that know how to pace themselves on the ice, you can see them succeed more in these scenarios compared to the younger guys on the team, where they are only, 15, 16 games into their NHL careers in this style of hockey. So it is definitely a major jump, I guess you could say, in the tank. Connor Bedard, I guess, is one exception. That guy seems like he can go forever, but a lot of the younger guys, it's just going to take a lot of time to get used to it. That's the best way, like you said, Nick. That's the perfect example of when you go over the season, you'll see this start to just fade away, and it'll start to get like just a normal event. But just the way it is right now, it's going to start out to be a bit tough. That's how it usually works when you have a younger team, and then it'll start to get better and better and better until this team is kind of just NHL regulars. Like, they're veterans at this point. And I'm assuming that's going to go pretty quick for these younger guys, at this age right now on the Blackhawks team. You have to assume they're going to be there for a while, so getting this team ready now is the perfect example. But I have one more screenshot here this is NBC Sports Chicago. One of the stats here they have is the Blackhawks have allowed up to at least 2 goals in the first period in 4 of the last 5 games and 6 of the last 8. They've been playing in a hole more than they probably prefer of late. So this is a perfect example here, Very, very desperate in their own end at that point. They're getting down early, and they know they got to keep on going. They got to push harder than they should need to at the beginning of the game. So you can see where the tank just starts to go down and down and down a lot quicker when they're down in the game. But yeah, no, Nick, like you said, final words here. This is just something that is going to have to be worked through. That's the simple thing. Luke Richardson, you're absolutely right, is their guy. That's the guy you want guiding you through this team. He seems like someone who can be very personal with the players. He's willing to, tell them what they did wrong, but not in a hard way. You got to be hard on the team, but he's not grinding anyone down to their gears. He's just saying, this is what's going to be worked on. I know you can do it. It's just going to take some time. And this is absolutely right. The Blackhawks, they're in good shape. They don't want to be in too good shape, though. I've been saying this, and, they're not going to exactly say it, but they know what they're doing. Yeah. But this team is very exciting. That's the best way to put it. And I'm expecting this team to get better as the season goes on, when more experience comes, due to how young this team is. The experience in Nick Foligno, Taylor Hall, Corey Perry, that's helping these younger guys. It's fantastic. So we're going to see this team improve over the next few weeks, and I'm sure of it. The schedule eases up a bit here in the coming weeks as well, so we're going to be playing a few easier teams. Seeing this team work in full unison, I think, is going to be a very exciting time. Taylor Hall is back now as well. Nikita Zaitsev have activated, and the goalies have been playing well. Soderbaum still needs a bit of work, but Mrazek's been very good. So we will see this team over the next few weeks improve, and that's all we have for this video. If you want to see any Chicago Blackhawks news, any updates on this team, make sure to subscribe, because we'll have it here. We'll be here talking about all of this stuff. So if you like the video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.